Leadership is not about a title. It is not about a position in a hierarchy. Leadership is the responsibility to see those around us rise. And how do we do that? It starts with communication. Not just talking, but connecting. Great leaders understand that their words are tools. They can build bridges or they can build walls, they can inspire action or they can create confusion. The vision you hold in your mind means nothing if it stays there. It only gains power when you can articulate it in a way that others can see it too. This is the fundamental purpose of leadership communication, to make your vision tangible for others. Consider a ship's captain. The captain knows the destination. They have the map, but the crew needs to trust the captain's direction. They need to understand their role in the journey. The captain doesn't just shout orders. A great captain explains the why. We are heading north because a storm is coming from the west. We must raise the sails now, so we can catch the wind that will carry us to safety. Suddenly, the instructions are not just tasks, they are part of a shared mission. This is what separates a boss from a leader. A boss tells you what to do, a leader tells you why it matters. Strong communication turns a group of individuals into a unified team, all rowing in the same direction. The impact of poor communication is something we have all felt. It breeds uncertainty. It creates doubt. It makes people feel unsafe. When a leader is unclear, their team fills the silence with their own assumptions, and those assumptions are rarely positive. Effective communication is the antidote to this chaos. It is the foundation of psychological safety, where people feel valued enough to speak up, share ideas, and even admit to making a mistake without fear. This is where real innovation happens. So, we must start here. We must recognize that communication is not a soft skill. It is the skill. To communicate like a leader, we must master 4 fundamental pillars. The first, and perhaps the most overlooked, is the art of listening. We are often so focused on what we are going to say next that we fail to truly hear what is being said right now. Leadership is not a monologue, it is a dialogue. True listening is not simply waiting for your turn to speak, it is about seeking to understand. It is about giving someone your full attention, making them feel seen and heard. When you listen, you learn, you uncover the real challenges, you discover the brilliant ideas that exist within your team. Listening builds trust faster than anything else. The second pillar is clarity. A leader's vision must be simple. It must be clear. Complexity is the enemy of execution. If people do not understand what you are asking of them, they cannot deliver. Think of it this way. Your message should be so clear that anyone on your team could explain it to someone else without you being in the room. This means avoiding jargon. It means using analogies and stories to make abstract ideas concrete. Clarity isn't about dumbing things down. It's about being smart enough to make your message accessible to everyone. Confidence is the third pillar. But this is not about arrogance or bravado. It is a quiet confidence born from belief. Belief in the vision, belief in the team, and belief in yourself. When you speak with conviction, people feel it. Your posture, your tone of voice, your eye contact, it all signals that you believe in the words you are saying. This does not mean you have all the answers. In fact, true confidence is having the courage to say, I don't know, but we will figure it out together. This authenticity is far more inspiring than feigned perfection. Finally, we arrive at empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It is the capacity to see the world from someone else's perspective. A leader without empathy is just a manager of tasks. A leader with empathy connects on a human level. They recognize that their team members are people with lives, aspirations, and challenges outside of work. We can see these principles in action when we look at leaders who have moved people to do remarkable things. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. standing before a crowd in 1963. He did not say, I have a plan. He said, I have a dream. He didn't present a multi-point strategy for civil rights. He painted a picture of the future. He described a world that people could see and feel. His language was simple, clear, and filled with hope. He wasn't speaking to people's minds. He was speaking to their hearts. He gave them a vision of a destination worth striving for, and because they could see it, they were willing to undertake the difficult journey with him. Or consider a more contemporary example like Brené Brown. Her leadership comes not from a formal title, but from her ability to connect through vulnerability. When she speaks, she doesn't pretend to have it all figured out. She shares her own struggles with shame and imperfection. This act of courage gives others the permission to be vulnerable too. Her confidence is not in being flawless, but in being human. By showing empathy for our shared human experience, she builds a deep sense of trust with her audience. People don't just listen to her ideas. They feel a part of a community that understands them. Now, let's look at the world of business. Satya Nadella took the helm at Microsoft at a time when the company's culture was seen as rigid and combative. He didn't come in with a list of new rules. He started by changing the conversation. He shifted the company's focus from a know-it-all culture to a learn-it-all culture. He communicated with empathy, listening to employees and customers to understand their frustrations. He consistently articulated a clear, simple vision to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. His calm, confident, and empathetic communication style transformed the company from the inside out. These leaders, from different fields and different eras, all share a common thread. They understand that leadership is a human endeavor. They use simple stories, not complex jargon. They show empathy, not authority. They inspire belief, not just compliance. They listen intently to the people they serve. They prove that the most powerful tool a leader has is not their power or their position, but their ability to communicate a clear and compelling vision of the future. The good news is that anyone can learn to do this. Communicating like a leader is not an innate talent reserved for a select few. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed through conscious practice. You can start today, right now, in your very next conversation. The first step is to practice active listening. The next time someone is speaking to you, put your phone down. Turn away from your computer, give them your undivided attention. Don't just wait for them to finish so you can talk. Instead, listen with the sole intent of understanding their perspective. Ask a clarifying question like, "What I hear you saying is that right?" Second, work on speaking with clarity and purpose. Before you enter a meeting or send an important email, ask yourself one simple question. What is the one thing I want them to walk away with? Define your core message first. Then, build your communication around that single idea. Try to use a story or an analogy to make it memorable. You don't need to sound like a CEO giving a keynote address, you just need to be clear. Simplicity is a sign of intelligence, not weakness. Practice stripping away the corporate jargon and speaking like a human being. Third, build your confidence by starting small. You don't have to give a TED Talk tomorrow. Start by offering an idea in your next team meeting. Speak up for just 30 seconds. The goal is not to be perfect, but to practice using your voice. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Another powerful technique is to ground your confidence in your purpose. Before you speak, remind yourself why your message matters. Why is it important for the team? When you believe in what you are saying, that belief will naturally translate into a more confident delivery. This is a journey, not a destination. You will not become a master communicator overnight. There will be times when you stumble over your words or when your message doesn't land as intended. That's okay. The goal is not perfection, the goal is progress. Great leaders are not great because they were born that way. They are great because they had the courage to practice, to learn, and to grow. You have that same capacity. Start today. Choose to listen. Choose to be clear. Choose to connect. Because when you learn to communicate like a leader, you don't just improve your career, you improve the lives of everyone around you.